How's it going, rednecks? In this video I'm going to be talking about torsion bars, torsion keys, and how lifting your vehicle might make it ride a little bit harsher. But to get started, what do you say we go over what torsion bars and torsion keys do to make your vehicle or suspension work?
So to get started, this is your lower control arm, and in comparison this is where it is on your vehicle, and your knuckle and then upper control arm all hooked to that, and that cycles up and down. Now how it stops the, or I guess how the torsion bar works, is you have a key on the end. This is called your torsion key, and this is your adjustment bolt right here, and this is called your torsion key adjustment bolt anchor. You run that bolt into this, which in turn clocks this upward. So there's always a force pushing this up, which is trying to rotate your torsion bar, which is trying to push your control arm down. So that way when you hit a bump and there's a force applied to your ball joint right here, it's trying to twist this torsion bar in an opposite direction. So this bar actually twists, and that's how your suspension moves up and down. And your torsion key is how you set your height for your vehicle. Now when people try to lift their vehicles, typically what they'll start with is trying to just adjust your torsion key bolt right here, your adjustment key. And this is located on the center cross member underneath your vehicle. And there's usually quite a bit of thread sticking out. And what I found is for every one full revolution of this bolt right here, your vehicle will come up about 1/4 inch.
From experience, a stock vehicle typically will have about 4 to 5 turns on this bolt before it bottoms out. So you can get about 1 inch to about 1.5 inch lift out of your vehicle by just using this right here.
Now for me, that's not going to be enough, so I'm going to end up going with a lift key, but I wanted to go over the key options right here. Now this is a stock 3/4 ton key, so this will be on all of your 8-lug vehicles, whether it be your Suburbans or trucks. And this is a lift key for a 3/4 ton. Now I'll show you the importance of this here in a second, because right here is a 1/2 ton stock key. So this is actually the one out of the truck I'm working on right now. And this is actually a Ford F-150 key or a lift key for a Chevy. So let's go over what the differences are, or why this and this are very similar. So this is going to be a little bit difficult to show, but this is a stock 3/4 ton key, and this is where your torsion bar would go in. Now here's your torsion bar adjustment bolt, and what you'd do is obviously you'd run this in to lift your vehicle. Now if we take a 3/4 ton lift key and we set it right in line with the hexes in here, you can see how much further off or different it is, which will allow you to run even more threads in now before you're to the location of where this one is, which should gain you about 2 more inches of lift. Now what's funny about that is if I take a 1/2 ton key and I set it directly so all these are lined up, that might be a little bit much. No, that's right about it. And there you go. You can see you can use a 1/2 ton key to lift a 3/4 ton truck quite significantly. And then this is the F-150 key. This is from a 97 F-150. If I line them up, you can see the difference between your 1/2 ton and the F-150 key. Now a lift key for a 1/2 ton is typically right around there. An F-150 key is right around there. So not too much different, but I find when I install this, I hardly have to run any threads in before I'm bottoming out my limit on my lower control arm, so I can't droop the suspension anymore. So in comparison, 3/4 ton, 3/4 ton lift key, 3/4 ton, 1/2 ton stock key, so these are both stock keys, and then this is 1/2 ton and F-150 key. And just so everybody knows, the F-150 key is shorter, but the location that the bolt actually goes into is in the same spot. This is just extra material on the Chevy, so from the side it would look like the F-150 key wouldn't work, but it actually does, because your bolt for the 1/2 ton is right there, and then the bolt for this is right here. So if you actually line them up, they're directly in line with each other.
So as if torsion keys weren't boring enough, I'm going to try and not bore you too bad with torsion bars. And there's 2 different ways to tell what kind of torsion bars you have in your vehicle.
One way is if the lettering is still good on the end, you can see this is a left side 307 torsion bar, and I'll show you the importance of that number here in a little bit. And then I got another one right here. This is a left side 311, and the easier way would be to go to your RPO codes, which are in your glove box, and your 6 and 7 are actually your torsion bars. So if you come to the bottom, usually those are at the end. So we have a 6XK and a 7XK. So with that being said, there are 3 different torsion bars that could have been in this truck. So the Suburbans, Avalanches, and Tahoes all share a 52-inch torsion bar. So technically there are only 3 torsion bars that will fit this platform, or the GMT800, Tahoe, Suburbans, and Avalanches. And I happen to have this guy right here. So this is my XK. So your torsion bar number is 307, 308. And this one over here is 307. So that shows your left and right. So that's how you can tell what torsion bar you have, whether it be your RPO code or your end of your torsion bar. Now these numbers right here I got. So the OD of your torsion bar is 1.1715 inches OD. Now online I found it has a max torque rating of 4,553 pounds. Now I don't know how important that is. It gives you a little bit of an idea of what the manufacturer, I'm guessing, is expecting out of the torsion bar. So if we move up to this one, this is your LX, or 309 for your left, 310 for your right, and it has an OD of 1.205 with a max torque rating of 4,626. Then the only other one you can run is an XM 311, 312, being your left and right side, which has a OD of 1.23 and a max torque rating of 5,638. So as you can see, from the XKs to the LXs, there's not much of a rating difference. You have about maybe 100, a little less than 100, but if you step up to the XMs, it's significantly more. So this is not going to be a guarantee, but I'm going to go over where you can find them torsion bars, or I guess what vehicles you can find them in. Now the XKs, which were in this Tahoe right here, can obviously be found in Tahoes and 2-wheel drive Suburbans, where the LXs can be found in Suburbans and Z71 Tahoes. And then the XMs can be found in Avalanches and Z71 Suburbans. Now that's not a for sure thing, but that's where I typically find these 3 bars in. And obviously, I'm going to be going with that guy right there. So, I'm going to be installing the XM torsion bars, or the bigger ones on this. Now, I've installed them on 2 other vehicles, Disaster Transport and my Gambler truck that's outside. And I will say it makes it ride a little bit harsher, but hardly noticeable. And that's because I didn't lift it. And now I'm going to go over why lifting your vehicle, or lifting this platform, will make it ride a little bit more harsh. So this is going to be a crude demonstration of why I think it's going to ride a little bit harsher. And that's because this is an ideal riding height for your vehicle from the factory. Your CV axle is nice and flat, so the joints aren't going to be on twisting. And when you hit a bump, I'm going to cycle the suspension up, and watch this gap right here. So you hit a bump, it goes up, it stays about level, and it continues to go up, and then it pulls in some. So now we're going to drop this thing down, and I'm going to show you what happens right here. So now we're going to be like, let's take this back to stock ride height. Now we're going to lift this thing up and watch how far this pulls in. If you look, there's a good probably 3/4 of an inch right there. So our upper control arm, our droop limit, is going to be hitting there. So let me push down on this. Wow, that made a huge difference. So yeah, we got about 1.5 inches right there. So this is one reason why I think these trucks ride harsher, is because what's happening is as your suspension cycles up and down, your tire needs to move out and in instead of just up and down. And not only that, when you hit a bump, some of that force is going into your lower control arm and into your frame, because normally you'd be flat like this and your arm would just twist up and down like this, where now it's on an angle like that, so some of the force is being put in that way.
So, not a huge difference. I think the bigger difference is going to be this right here.
Your shock. Yes, you are used to a road shock, and now you lifted your vehicle, got a slightly more aggressive off-road shock, and it is dampening quite a bit different and giving you a harsher ride.
Now I know that sounds stupid, but a lot of people don't think about their shocks, and when you replace them, there are a lot of variables in how much dampening goes on in them. And a good example of that is my dad had a 3/4 ton Suburban with a 8.1 liter in it, and that thing would bounce all over the place. It was kind of smooth, but it would kind of float a little bit too much. We threw some Monomaxes in the front, and I tell you what, that got rid of it completely. It made it ride a little bit more harsh, but it was way more drivable. So take a good consideration into your shocks. Read the description, read what people are saying. Typically, I buy these ones because they, in the comment section, people say it rides too harsh, and I go, that's perfect for me because I don't plan on just driving this thing on the road. I plan on off-roading as well.
And I suppose there is another thing that could make these ride harsh is a lot of people don't think about your limiting bump stop right here. So your suspension can only go down so far because they don't want your CV axle to bind. And typically you want to be about an inch, inch and a half of travel, not inch and a half here, but an inch and a half between your center point and the bottom of your fender before this bottoms out. So you at least want about an inch and a half of rebound. And people might be riding on this, so when they're hitting bumps on the road or their vehicle comes up off the ground, it bottoms out and makes it ride harsh.
Now I might cut a little bit out of that bump stop. I don't recommend doing that, but that's up to you guys. I know my vehicles pretty well. I'm going to make sure not to cut too much out if I do, and I'm not going to show that because that's on you guys if you want to do that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get those torsion bars installed with the F-150 keys and my, I think those are, what are they, the Rough Country N3 shocks. I want to get them guys installed, and I'm not going to show that because honestly, there's enough videos on torsion bars. You can look them up. These things are a pain in the butt to get out. They're not that hard to put in, but underneath that truck, it's dark, it's crammed, and I don't feel like doing it. So I'll get back with you guys when I get all of this installed in the truck. Well, Rednecks, it's been a little bit, and I got the torsion bars in, and it was not easy.
You see, I used these, I actually used this C-clamp to remove the old torsion bar, but since the Avalanche ones are so much bigger, I tried using both of these, and it didn't work. And what I ultimately ended up using was my ball joint press.
With that being said, I've installed a few of these torsion bars in trucks using a torsion bar key install tool that my buddy has, and I kept forgetting to get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link down below in the description of one so you guys have an idea of what they look like and what you're looking for, because you're going to want them to install these. I did use that ball joint press right down there or whatever. It worked okay. I think the install tool would have been better, but with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and get back to work.
You gonna tell him to get back to work? You gonna tell him to get back to work? You don't look too enthused about all this. I'll shove a camera in your face and you gotta be all important, huh? You gotta know what to say. Alright, let's go get some Taco Bell, huh? Yeah, Taco Bell.